My job is at one level very simple, because Suhas, in his 65-minute speech, has opened so many windows for us to introspect and also think aloud as to what is happening to us collectively as a country, as a society, and also individually, how are we responding to it. So since he has opened so many windows, I will not be able to deal with all the aspects that he dealt with. And therefore, I will limit myself to some of his observations, continuation of his observations, or make my own great wisdom to you for you to think. Well, actually, he raised one important question as how we arrived here, wherever we have arrived in that bulldozer democracy. And he very correctly said it is not a question of merely physical bulldozer demolishing your house or institution. In Banaras, they destroyed and demolished the Sarvodaya Seva Sangh office without taking into account any constitutional or any public protest or any civil society response. They demolished Sarvodaya Society organization. So he raised the question, how did we arrive here? That's a very, very fundamental question. That question can be raised in a different format. Like, were we like this all the time? Was our democracy always very fragile? How did we come from Nehruvian era to Modi era? For Narendra Modi, Nehruvian era and Modi era is just a continuation in the Trimurti Bhavan. For him, from Nehru to Modi, there is no difference. There are so many prime ministers. So all prime ministers are equal. And anybody will say, after all prime ministers were elected by the legal process, by the constitutional process, by the electoral process. So obviously all prime ministers are equal. Therefore, there is nothing wrong in equating Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Narendra Modi. But I would raise a slightly different, contrarian question in respect to how did we arrive here. I don't know how many of you remember, but the demand for so-called hard right-wing party in India. Hard right-wing party in India is needed because the polity in India is dominated by the left, condemned sometimes as Nehruvian left. And that Nehruvian left is actually in command, and therefore the right has not really grown. This was not argument only of the Swatantra party. It was argument of many so-called, or actually, liberal intellectuals, I don't want to take name, but if you have access to newspapers on the net, you will find in 2012 and 2013, the renowned liberal intellectuals writing in Indian Express, saying that time has come for us to have a genuine right-wing party and a strong leadership. The point he raised of strong leadership was demanded by the liberals in many newspapers, not only in many newspapers, in many civil society organizations. I am not concerned why they condemn Manmohan Singh. I am not here to defend UPA 2 or UPA 1. But suddenly they start today discussing that the old world has gone. Old world, which old world? Manmohan Singh's old world? Indira Gandhi's old world? Rajiv Gandhi's old world? Nehru's old world? Which old world? All these liberal intellectuals who were writing in Indian Express profoundly and eloquently, today are regretting that they did so. Publicly they are regretting. I do not want to name them. They are truly very, very profound scholars, some coming from US and some from here, including from Ashoka University. So the question is, how did we arrive here? Between 2012 or even before that, in 2011, when the so-called Anna Hazare's agitation took place in the name of anti-corruption, many of these liberal intellectuals were in the forefront of going to Anna Hazare and defending. And who were all going? The CPI, the CPM, the socialists were shoulder to shoulder with Arun Jaitley and others, saying that this is not on, this is 2011. In 2013, this sound was even louder. After the third successive election of Narendra Modi in Gujarat, these people started. Some of them have contributed to the manifesto of 2014 BJP, these liberal intellectuals. And that's how Modi comes in 2014. Otherwise, I will just ask a simple rider. How much time I am supposed to speak? No, I can speak almost for 1 hour, which I don't want to do. The point that must be made and must be remembered is that 2009 election. I'm not arguing for or anti-Congress, I'm just giving you some facts. In 2009, Congress secured 206 seats. 206 seats. And BJP secured, I think, 118 or some such seats. Only 5 years later, only 5, 2009, 2014, 206 seats of Congress came to just 44 seats. And BJP came from 118 to 282 seats. Just 5 years. What happened between 2009 and 2014 that the disillusionment with Manmohan Singh government, UPA 2, was so much that from 206 Congress was brought to 44, and Modi, what was this sudden affection, sudden infatuation with Narendra Modi, which brought the BJP from 118 to 282, the single largest party for the first time, forming its own majority after 1989. Why nobody has asked this question? And this is because between 2009 and 2014, so much has happened which I don't want to describe except what I mentioned about Anna Hazare, who was supported by left, right and the liberals. And 2014 changed, and till for first 6 to 8 months, even 1 year, very, very few, hardly any actually, intellectuals or scholars or politicians or pundits or even media persons thought that this is going to be a monster in Indian politics. We talk about bulldozing. Having been in Rajya Sabha for 6 years, what he said is correct. Bulldozer is not only physical. Modi is a personification of bulldozer. He is a personal bulldozer. He bulldozes everything. He bulldozes his cabinet. He bulldozes parliament. All of us were suspended when those all related to crime were passed. Nearly 150 MPs were suspended, Lok Sabha 146, and of all entire opposition, not only Congress. And how much was the strong public opposition to that kind of suspension and passing laws? How much? In market, nothing. Media didn't say anything? No. Media just submitted totally, surrendered. Media did not take any action on any subject. I'll just give you another bulldozer, which he mentioned also. In 2016, and this is now on record, in 2016 when he announced demonetization on TV, he had brought the entire cabinet in one room. Modi brought entire cabinet in one room, and this is on record. Arun Jaitley as well as Arvind Subramaniam have said it. And nobody knew why entire cabinet has been called in that room. He said, I am going to make a major announcement on TV and you will hear it here. So they were supposed to hear the demonetization announcement right in that room when Modi announced it to the rest of the world, making 1,500 rupees notes equal to Raddi. Even Arun Jaitley did not know. When we asked Arvind Subramaniam in Nehru Center seminar, he said, well, only he did it. We asked him, but you were the economic advisor. So did he not consult you? He said once in some strange way he had said, how do you respond to demonetization? But he did not know that demonetization was to come. After, of course, that so-called discussion with him, it was 1 year before. Raghuram Rajan had resigned, Urjit Patel had later on problems. So Reserve Bank governors are gone. Arvind Subramaniam, economic advisor, then he told us when we asked him, but he didn't consult anybody in the cabinet. He said he doesn't need to consult because he knows everything. He knows everything. As all of you know, he dictated the date of Chandrayaan, first Chandrayaan, which failed. He dictated the date of Chandrayaan launch, which failed. He dictated the term and the time of new parliament building. I was there. He actually dictated that, and that's why it is leaking from all over now. I have seen the leakages, I was there. I have come only a couple of months ago. He dictated that I want Ram Mandir to be ready on 22nd January. Now it is leaking. So Ram Mandir is leaking, that parliament is leaking, that Chandrayaan has failed. And he had said, if you recall, after demonetization, that if you prove that I have done wrong and crime, you hang me anywhere. These are his words. You hang me anywhere in the public square. Forget hanging, media did not even open the topic. As media is so horribly panicked and afraid, media did not show even poor Fogart's protest in Delhi. Not only that, media did not pay tribute to her for gaining that silver which is not given, and media did not raise any question about Fogart's arrival on international scene of Olympics. Media is afraid of Fogart. Media is afraid of everybody. Whoever challenges Modi, media is afraid of. Media must not touch the subjects which will hurt Modi. And that is why we must realize that the bulldozers have been allowed to operate right from Delhi, cabinet onwards. Not only in 2017 is arrival of Yogi Adityanath. Before that, the bulldozer called Narendra Modi started operating. And not only that, I will further tell you, I'm more a journalist than a parliamentarian. She introduced me as a politician. I am not in that sense of the politician. In Goa, when Modi's candidature was declared as a prime ministerial candidate, that itself was bulldozed by Modi. And now there are records available. Yashwant Sinha has spoken about it. Advani has not spoken about it, but everybody knows. Sushma Swaraj spoke about it. Modi's name was not on the top list. Modi's name was brought on the top list by first removing Nitin Gadkari from the second term of the president which was proposed, making Rajnath Singh and forcing Rajnath Singh. That was done by Modi. Modi's gangs were there in the hall, in different corners of the hall, and they started shouting immediately when the meeting began, Modi, 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 we want Modi, Modi, Modi as Prime Minister. And when we asked Rajnath Singh, but how did you allow? He said, four of us were there, not only me. He said, you don't realize I had just become president of the party a couple of months ago. And if I had not allowed that, his candidature, party would have been split. And I would have been blamed that within 3 months of my coming as president, I split the party, I allowed the party split to take place. So blame will be on me, the sin will be, I will be the person who committed the sin. And otherwise, there was going to be a big ruckus, perhaps riot in Goa, if Modi's name was not announced as a candidate for prime ministership. So bulldozing begins earlier. And if I may take, sorry to say, contrarian view of referring some back references as to whether we have in our DNA some kind of authoritarianism. How many of you remember that no less a person but Jayaprakash Narayan said in 1968 that what India needs is Ayub Khan style governance? I don't know how many of you remember. It was JP who said in 1968. Forget that. That is too old a story and it can unnecessarily generate arguments. But what all of us know was in 1974, when the agitation took place in Gujarat, forcing assembly to be dissolved, which was elected only 1 year or a few months before, Jayaprakash agreed. Assembly to be dissolved. Mrs. Gandhi refused to dissolve. She said, we did just elected now. What is the occasion to dissolve? Because there are people on the streets, only section of the people on the streets. You want me to dissolve Gujarat Assembly? If you remember, she was attacked by stones, she was hurt, injured, carried this stone injury. And then Moraji went on hunger strike, indefinite hunger strike. And then many congressmen from Gujarat and elsewhere told Mrs. Gandhi, look, if Moraji dies, like in Andhra Ramalu died in 1956, it will be a big blow to our human approach to politics. So let not Moraji die. Let us dissolve the assembly. So assembly was dissolved. There was no Modi. Agitation was led later on by no less but Jayaprakash Narayan, who in Sundrabai Hall, I was present as a reporter of the Economic Times. I think Kalpana will remember. Who in Sundrabai Hall said that let us not consider RSS a pariah. Let us not isolate them. They should be part of the mainstream politics to defend and promote democratic forces. That was in Sundrabai Hall. If I am not mistaken, another person on the dais was Palkiwala. So, what are we talking about? If we are referring to the old aspects of how bulldozers came to power, and yet, despite all that, bulldozers did not acquire power after Nehru died, after Shastri died, after Indira Gandhi died, after Rajiv Gandhi died. Bulldozers acquired power only in 2014. That shows that India may have had, like we also have bad cholesterol and good cholesterol and all that, so we must be having bad cholesterol of some dictatorial tendencies and bulldozing tendencies ever since 1947, maybe. In fact, Ambedkar has warned for that in his constitutional speech. So maybe they were there, but they were controlled. They did not rise so much that they came to power. In 1990, Advani started Rath Yatra and withdrew support of the government of VP Singh because Rath Yatra was stopped by Lalu in Samastipur. That time, BJP was opposed to Mandal Commission, which actually provoked the Rath Yatra on 22nd October 1990. And that time, Mandal was categorically opposed by Narendra Modi and BJP. Today they are the advocates of Mandalization. Modi quotes very often VP Singh and Mandal, saying that it is the democratization of Hindu society. So Advani, who opposed, BJP, who opposed Mandal, today are advocating, and suddenly they say, in fact, many of the BJP candidates in the election demanding tickets now are saying, अरे मुझे नहीं टिकट मिलेगा, क्यों? अरे मैं साला ब्राह्मण हूँ ना, हमारी पार्टी में आजकल ब्राह्मण को बहुत कम वैल्यू है. And for all the progressives, RSS was a Brahmin party. Now Modi always takes pride in publicly saying that he is OBC. Actually is not, but that is a different thing. That's a separate story. Just as his degree is fake, his caste is also fake. So that is not our discussion today. The point is, all this started, this fakery, post-truth, fake truth. And here in Harkishan Das Hospital, Narendra Modi inaugurates Science and Medical Conference. In front, the audience is surgeons, doctors, top-class medical practitioners. And Modi tells them Kauravas were genetics engineering was there, and doctors listening. Then they said there was plastic surgery, and Ganpati's head is a proof of plastic surgery there, doctors listening, surgeons listening, plastic surgeons also listening. Then somebody asked him after the event, but if plastic surgery was there, they should have put original head on Ganpati. Why poor Hathi should be killed? If the plastic surgery was so advanced in those days. But doctors succumbed, surgeons succumbed, academics succumbed, lawyers succumbed, media surrendered, media not only crawled, media prostrated. And this middle-class, educated intelligentsia has brought Modi to power. And I'll tell you, Suhas was right in his surveys when he quoted, irrespective of class, caste, and social status, they were demanding strong leader. True. I do not mind that statement. What do I mind is they demanding a strong leader, a peasant, a farmer, a Shet Mazur, is different thing than the liberal intellectuals and the media demanding a strong leader. Media and these people demanding strong leader is more dangerous than general public wanting a strong leader, which general public might want. And therefore I think this middle-class so-called intelligentsia, the so-called educated, well-off intelligentsia, which is governed more by their hedonism, by shopping malls and inox, they are the real supporters of Narendra Modi regime and bulldozer democracy. So let us not exonerate ourselves that, okay, it is Modi doing. We are responsible for Modi being there from 2010 onwards. Thank you very much.